All right. And I think we are live. Yes.
Greetings.
What's up? So it's CPE, and I just wanted to kind of like, I noticed Albert made a video kind of discussing art, and that was interesting. But, I kind of wanted to give my take on the subject because art is something that's important to me and it's important to you, right, CPE?
Yep. Yep. I think we could definitely chew the fat on this one for a little bit, couldn't we? It's definitely something that
Yes,
we use.
because it's something that it has there's so much there to kind of talk about it. Like, there's
Hmm.
so many styles of art. There's so many, like, I mean, everything can be an art if you make it into one. So
Yeah, I mean, look at that Simpsons with Homer, the outside art episode. You know where he sticks the fucking golfing umbrella into the concrete or whatever it is. Like, there's a point. There's a reality there. You know, there really is a reality there. That people, that is art. Like, people do shit like that. That's art
right,
too.
right, and that's not the only way to be artistic. There is that kind of profound, like, something that makes you think or something that provokes an
Yeah.
emotion, right? Like, there's that type of art. Then there's the technical ability of realistic, like photorealistic painting, like the Renaissance
I've
artists,
said it
and
many times about trolling as well. That trolling, if it's done right, is an art form. If it's done
right.
properly,
Well,
it's like Jonathan Swift was a troll. He's one of my that Fullerton Gulliver's Travels is one of my favorite books. Like, and so like there's definitely all that stuff, and even just like someone having such attention to detail that they're very very good at not missing anything. You know,
right,
details
Uh,
or of evidence and stuff.
right, and anything can have art. Like, the difference is like doing a task, and then the finesse that
Exactly.
doing it with finesse, that's art, right? That's
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I wouldn't have even been able to put my finger on it, but that's right. That is exactly right. It's just how skilled you get at something. But even if you're not skilled at it, you could just do it and not
right,
even realize, couldn't you? You could just have never done whatever it is before and
right,
pick up the
because
thing and just do it, and it could be the best art ever.
right, and the quality of the art is not measurable, right? It's not quantifiable. It's
Only by
it's
you, only by
it's
that one
only
person.
it's a matter of opinion, right?
Yeah,
That's all it is.
and they can't change it, and that's why the art industry and the money side of art is so fucked up because it doesn't actually relate to the real concept of art because you can't judge it.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Like, there's one of my favorite humans of all time. I know I say this about a couple. One of my favorite humans is Rodney Mullen, right? He's a famous skateboarder, pretty
Oh,
much,
I've even recognised his name from somewhere. Probably
right?
you.
And he's one of the most innovative skateboarders of all time. And like,
I think.
street skating as we know it today is pretty much invented by Rodney Mullen. Okay, like, he's the first
Ooh,
one to do many of the tricks. Like, so he's a very important figure in
yeah,
skateboarding, and he says it the best. Um, because skateboarding, it's not, he doesn't consider it as a sport, right? He considers it as an art, and it's true because, like, how do you measure
yeah.
the quality of somebody's skateboarding, right? It's only up to them and what they want to do and how they want to express
I
their
think
skills.
I think part of it is that you need an artist eye, and I don't know what that is or how you judge that, but you can just tell, can't you, when someone's got their artist eye out because they can just see it, and it's not a specific sort of art or something that you might even agree with or your type of art, but they're seeing it with their artist's eye. And I think with a skateboarding, I would definitely agree with that because I've had many conversations with my brother about how you look at the world completely differently if you're a skateboarder and if you go out into the
Right.
world, you're
Exactly.
seeing everything. You're seeing like
Exactly.
angles and fucking
This
looking at
day,
gravity
to
in a
this
completely
day, if I drive by a place, I'll be like, "Ooh, that's a good spot."
exactly.
Yeah,
Like a fisherman walking past the fucking fishing hole. Do you know what I mean? Any fucking pond. Normal people
right.
would be like, "Oh, that's a nice bit of water." But most people are like, "Oh, I wonder how many fucking fish are in there." Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
it's up, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So
Exactly, and we're trying to
right,
fucking tell Lewis and Albert this. So that
right.
in itself is art. You know
Well,
what I
he
mean? Like,
knows this. He knows this. He knows, like, you know, he's interested in one of the finest arts that there is, cooking. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't get any more important than cooking, right?
that's the thing with Albert as well. It's like that's why it makes it amusing because he throws his lot in with these idiots and he makes himself stupid to fit in with them and stuff. But actually, he's not a total fucking. He's a cultured fella. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
He was at one
Absolutely.
point. At one point, yeah, you
Yeah.
know, and probably got more culture than me. You know, but that doesn't
He
mean
he
that.
seems to know a little bit about a lot of stuff. I mean, you know,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he can go around dictating to people what art is.
right. Right. I
Probably
mean,
sitting with his guitar.
it's hard for anybody to do that, you know. It's art
Yeah,
is such a nebulous
the
thing.
level of arrogance, isn't it, that just overtakes reality, doesn't it? I think that's what we're seeing here because that's what we see all the time with these idiots.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously, look, you know, he didn't do that to spark a philosophical debate
Exactly.
about art,
No,
but he was just trolling. But it just kind of inspired me because, like, I remember art growing up, and my earliest memories of like drawing and stuff, and being in school, and kind of being able to escape. It was like the easiest way to escape, just kind of like letting your imagination go wild and just scratching on a piece of paper, and you can take yourself anywhere, right? Like, you can do
yeah,
whatever you want.
it was my granddad. My granddad was really good at drawing, and whenever he was going around and visit him, he used to sit. I used to sit with him while he drew, and like my mum or whatever. Excuse me, my mum and my nan and everyone would go out shopping or whatever, and I'd just stay with my granddad, and he'd
Yeah.
do drawing. And then I got into that, so I think that's when I started doing it. But then I think I'd already been doing some art at school or something, but I just hadn't. I just kind of thought that it was easier, you know, when you just find something fairly easy. You know what I mean? It was just
So
easy.
yeah, it's just a pencil and a piece of paper and your imagination.
Exactly, and I think a lot of the time, and this is what I found with singing, because obviously singing I used to, I think, probably do it when I was at school or something, but then I just didn't forever and ever. And I think obviously I used to go to church or something when I was a kid, and that was about it. And so it's not come second nature to me. But the thing that I found is the big thing with that is not letting yourself get in your way of it. That's just the biggest thing. Like having a shit voice doesn't matter, being tone deaf doesn't matter, not knowing the song doesn't matter, and all the rest of the technical aspects of it. I mean,
Right.
the more you do it, obviously it matters massively, but
Yes.
not for my level of singing. Do you know what I mean? It makes no fucking odds. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But what was I talking about? I can't remember. Oh yeah, but the main problem that I come across, I think, is the main stumbling block from people with any art is just not stopping yourself from not having these prejudices against yourself to stop you and falling over yourself and being a block
Right.
for yourself.
I mean, if you're gonna focus on being, you know, the best, like in a technical sense, you know, there's always gonna be somebody with
Oh
something
God.
better than you, and you
At
know,
my
it's
age, no chance. No chance.
exactly, exactly.
No
So
chance. You need to be like in your teens or early 20s to be technically at your highest game, I'd imagine, or maybe up until mid 20s, I'd say, and then after that, you're gonna be downhill, aren't you? Even
it's,
like an old
it's,
guy doing your eyesight's fucked or whatever. Like,
it's going to be way more difficult to develop skills. You know what I mean? So you're
yeah.
gonna have to rely on the skills that you've learned so far.
And then spread off
That's what I
that.
find in my drawing, especially in drawing.
Mm.
Like, I feel like you know, with my little music thing that I do, like, I find that I've kind of like improved vastly in the past few years.
Yeah.
Got to know the software a little bit better. I don't know if my actual ear or whatever it takes to come up with something that I enjoy. If that got better, I think it's just my technical, and that's the thing,
I
right?
think
As
as
you do
well,
it, your technical
yeah,
abilities will
technical
develop more.
abilities
Yeah,
definitely, because there's so much to learn with these programs. and you could go for years, you know, and you're going to keep on finding shit until you're a pro at something like that. Like, that's not my think anyway on that shit.
Yeah, but as far as drawing, it's like I can't. It would be very difficult for me to improve my skills. Like I would take a lot of time sitting down drawing.
I've spent a lot of time over my life trying lots and lots of different styles. So I'll say that, and so I have got a certain style, but I wouldn't say I am stuck in it. I suppose I can't. I just do stuff in that style most of the time. If I go to my default style, I will always do that, and I think that's where I'm kind of stuck. I think I'll always do that style.
Well, I was stuck in that sense for a long time, and I kind of was drawn more towards doing this music thing because, you know, as technology got better and I was able to do that, like, you know, drawings was something that get lost over time. The paper deteriorates. You have to throw stuff out. You know,
Oh, you say that. I find some shit. I found it not long back. I'll see if I can put them up on a community post at some point. Right, old fucking pictures, like, and they're still like fresh. I have a picture of fucking Johnny Five that I did when I was like 15.
Yeah. But like my music, I can bring it everywhere with me, and I can have it whenever I want and enjoy it whenever I want. You know what I mean? Whereas drawings, you know, aren't like that. So I think that's for me. That's why I was more drawn towards it, because like once I got my first car and was able to play my own music in my own stereo, I you know.
And you can check your work, can't you, when you're out and about in the car as well? So
Exactly. Exactly. How's this going to sound in the car?
Exactly, and it's more exciting.
So, yeah.
With the painting and the drawing and stuff, I'm a bit different because I liked how you could just pick it up and take it somewhere. You don't need electricity or anything. You could just
right. That is true. That is one advantage of drawing or painting.
Oh, it's good. I mean, I've sent you a picture before when I'm at work, and I'm just like, really am at the very last of the shift. You've got like 45 minutes to an hour to kill, really, and you just kind of like don't really know what to do. So sitting and drawing is great for that time because you kind of can involve people in it as well a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was drawing. So that particular picture I sent to you, that was a picture of Carl, wasn't it? I never finished it.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, that was actually pretty good.
And then I did buttocks the other day. I was doing off that picture that I was doing, and one of the guys was going, "Oh, it looks like a French man."
Oh, because with the beret.
He's got the beret on, yeah. Yeah. So it's just something fun to do, and all you need is a pen, and I think I like that about it.
Absolutely.
I think the way I would go more with it is I've never really gone into a tablet or anything, you know, like a graphics tablet or anything like that.
Yeah, I flirted with kind of trying those off and on, but like I said, like I kind of stepped away from drawing and moved towards, you know, the music thing. It's more dynamic to me. It's more like instant gratification. I can make something and then go listen to it, and you know.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I suppose my similar, I wouldn't say it's the same at all. It's similar is when I started working with Lightworks and doing that a few months back, you know, starting doing
I gotta set some time about to learn that. But go on, sorry.
I am well up for doing that as well. I haven't forgotten. I think we should do that. I will definitely do like a thing, and because it is so much easier than someone saying, "No, you just do this." And then like, yeah, I know, but I just need something to start from. I just need a starting point, and then I can work it out. Like,
that's what I feel like. If you just kind of showed me like the path, and I can be like, oh, and find it myself.
Yeah, you need that.
I want to do that one project. It's like been on my mind forever.
But you did do it the other day. I saw. Oh, you did it. Did you do that on Photoshop? One of your pictures you put a head on.
I did. I didn't do any of that. That was somebody.
I'm sure I saw one the other day and I was like, he's done it. He's fucking managed it.
No, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. I wish it was.
Yeah, it's so simple when you know how as well. It took me fucking ages to work it out. Ask Evil. Yeah. Asking him all the time. I was like, will you stick this face on this person for me? And he did it loads for me, bless him.
I used to mess with that stuff so much when I was younger. I had the Photoshop. I had my cracked version of Photoshop.
Yeah, back in the day when you could have those. Yeah, I did as well, but we're talking a long time ago.
Yeah. Nowadays, like the free, like the share, like the free open source, I can't figure out. Like GIMP, I cannot figure out that program.
I've been playing with that for ages, and I can't get beyond like basic.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Basic
nothing like
Photoshop.
Photoshop, man. Photoshop was so intuitive. It was so easy to use,
No, I
and
think it's quite good. You know, it's quite intuitive. I think it's just you just need to get your head around it. You're probably going to struggle more than me if you really did know Photoshop as well, because you're going to have to unlearn that, aren't you? Whereas
yeah,
when I did Photoshop, it was like I'm talking a long time ago when we had a copy of it, and we're talking like really, really, really long time ago. Pre-internet, probably.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I remember it was because they had Adobe came out later, but I remember at the beginning it was like Coral. They had Coral Draw
That's
was the thing.
right. Cold Draw, that's where we had to
Yeah,
school. Jesus,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it had
yeah,
those hot air balloons on the front, didn't it? Yeah, I remember.
yeah. And it was so cool. You can like do embossed text, font.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it was like the best
And you
thing.
could have it like watercolor or charcoal or
Yeah,
whatever.
or like make it look like molten steel or whatever. Like
Uh,
so many effects that you could do.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what Tommy said the other. I read it in one of the Discord things, and Tommy had said about the AI stuff and saying like there ain't much time left before it's all going to be gone. All that crazy AI stuff, and I'd thought
Yeah.
about that. Like, oh my God, he's so right, and I fucking missed that one completely. My head was up my arse, and I was interested in what Tommy was doing, but like I really wanted to get involved myself. I just did not have the time at that time.
Well, I really am interested in that stuff, and like
Yeah.
I want to get into learning how to do the prompts and learning how to do that shit.
Some of the fucking Tommy Taylor Yuko pictures that Tommy did were amazing over the summer. There was a series of them that he did that were just so colourful. They were the best ones I saw, and he did some amazing ones. I mean that some of my favourite ones I think were the ones where he did Hobo Albo in the tent, in Nosferatu in the tent. That was fucking hilarious. Those were brilliant photos, brilliant pictures.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I gotta get into that. Oh, I've been wanting to do some stuff for the like different Discord stuff. Like
Yeah.
I've been
Do you
wanting
remember?
to been wanting to mess with it.
Do you remember when they did that? The start of that. Well, what I saw as the start, but probably not. But it was ages ago. I'm talking like 2012 or something, and it was like the dream thing, something dream, and you put a photo in it, and it'd do an overlay on top of it,
Uh-huh.
an AI overlay over the top, and it'd do it in different styles, but it'd repaint the picture in a different style. It would do that,
Uh-huh.
and it was like very prescribed off the peg sort of AI, but
Yeah.
it did what it did, and I was well into that. I had fucking folders and folders full of photos of fucking crazy shit that I used to put in there and put on Facebook back in those days.
Uh-huh. I was amazed with the when they came up with the thing where you can take out like the people or like in the background things that you didn't want. You like it was crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, when Tommy first started with this, I saw when he was doing the AI. I was just really, really interested in the writing. I thought the writing aspect of it was it still interests me a lot because it
Oh,
shows.
the how it'll write like it'll write you an essay or whatever, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm talking about in the pictures how the writing turns out.
Oh, right. It's all gibberish.
Yeah, it's all like it is in a dream. It's dream writing, and I find that really interesting. How it's so similar to a dream that
Oh,
our brains,
right.
our algorithms in our brains work and stuff.
Uh-huh. That is that
Yeah,
is interesting.
yeah.
You think, man, like, is this thing like kind of working similarly to how our brain works.
Exactly. And that dream thing, that although it was, compared to this, what we've got now, it was like super basic, but like the images that this fucking thing with just these algorithms that it do, they just looked like when you were tripping. It was crazy. There was some of them that just be like so perfectly like what it's like when you're on mushrooms at a certain point of the trip, and it's like, oh my god, because your brain's obviously just doing the same shit, like down. Do you know what I mean? And it's doing the same shit as the computer was. This basic
Yeah.
computer was, because you're just letting your brain just go off on its own and do its own
Right.
shit without you being in charge. Like,
Right.
it was fucking so mad how similar they were. The colours and everything were just the same. And it was like, oh my God, like, how cliche.
Yeah. It's like life is really turning into a science fiction movie.
Yeah, it
The way
really
things
is.
are going. It's crazy. Down to the dystopia and everything.
And the cloning and the shit. Oh, that reminds me, it was like a little fucking recommended video that came. I meant to fucking save it and put it on the Discord. It was just one of these things that comes up on your recommenders. It was short, I think. And this guy saying about AI. And someone had gone on saying, I'll see if I can find it, but it was like, this guy was just like freaking out, tinfoil hatter, going, how did they know it was lizards? So like, it's put in something like, make a load of money grabbing greedy politicians, and then he went and said, oh no, they need to be more extreme and more greedy, and the more extreme and greedy it went, the more like lizards they went, and it just ended up looking like fucking They Live or something by the end of it. And the guy was like, how does he know? How does it know? And it's like, because all the fucking AI has to do is look on the internet.
Exactly.
All of you guys are going on about lizards.
Right.
This guy was like, didn't see the correlation at all. Like,
Of course not. Because of course, and it goes back to what we were kind of saying. It's like they'll only take it in the way that it fits their narrative, right? So they'll twist it to fit what they believe, right? So it's almost these internet trolls do, right? They'll take a morsel of information, and then they'll twist it into to fit their belief, and then it's almost like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, this is why it's so ironic, him talking about art, and why I said I'll be interested to see what his take on it is. But it won't be. It'll just be an attack, I'd imagine, upon his take on it. Because everything he does has to have a use, a very crude use.
Right.
Hit someone around the head with. So, like, you can't do that with art very well. Well, you can.
Well, the subject of art is a very secondary to what the video is about, right? It is more of an than talking about art, obviously. But
well, that, going back to what you were saying, though, that's where this stands out so much, isn't it? Because the people who are taking this information and twisting it, like you say, and doing this stuff, they're not doing it very artistically at all. They're not doing it very artfully. They're very crude, and they're very childish with it. And so it's just standing out to anyone with half an eye of art. Is looking
and I also find it funny because it's like he's making fun of your videos, whatever. And
is he? I'd be interested to see.
Well, I think that's kind of what the sentiment is, and I think they always kind of do that. And it's like,
what's new?
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm 100% sure that you're not doing it to impress anybody. You're just kind of challenging yourself, and you're doing what you want to do, and it's fun.
It's I think if anybody I'm trying to communicate with, the few times I've done anything like that, it's been communicating with buttocks. And you'll see the people who I'll communicate with, and it's because I see that they are artistic people. And I'll try and make a conversation with them with the art. So Albert's going to be left well out of that. Anything I do towards Albert is very crude and on the nose most of the time, because he's not going to get it if I want him to understand it. I've learned a long time. You have to learn.
But then again, that's what you were saying before. Maybe that's your perception. Maybe he I think he's a deeper individual than, and we give him credit.
Yeah, he's got it in there, but I think, like with a lot of things with Albert, he's his own worst enemy, isn't he? So he's shutting himself down. He shuts those parts of himself off. And as you know, with people like Dean and these fucking gatekeeping, fucking political-minded manipulators, all they know is how to use people as resources. You've got to chop bits of yourself off to fit in, haven't you? You've got to just become quite a dull.
Think of it as a front. It's like this is what, like, they have a mission or whatever it is. Like, I don't know if that's the right word, but like, I
Just
don't
to
know.
destroy everyone, I think. Well, it's who was it who said it? Was it Hayat, I think? And he was just saying, it's just to stop anybody else, and it really is. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. You
That's
just,
where it comes from.
yeah,
It's like sibling rivalry in the nest. Do you know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
you're not getting that bit of food.
Right,
It's at
right,
that level they've just keyed themselves down to that level, but they don't even realize that's what they've done.
right, right,
Because
right.
adults,
Yeah. In doing so, they just alienate themselves by
yeah.
pushing everybody else down.
Well,
Um,
what sort of a
as
landscape have you got for yourself then? Because now look at them, desperate for some sort of content, desperate for some sort of input. Like a few months ago, they had so much input from me and Tommy and Evil, and everybody was feeding back straight into it when we first started, because we were like, all right, let's go for it. Let's have this fucking troll fight.
yeah, yeah.
But no chance. Like, just, and now that's what's offensive now, when they're trying to paint this picture like, oh, it's all a joke, and you're like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, I do. It is all a joke, because it's like,
Well, yeah.
like, I've seen the veil drop instantly. So it's like, all this is like an act, right? Like, they want to be these edge lords, and like, roast, and they're into
We're
this
at
Howard
like
Stern
16 now.
stuff, and so it's like, it's all that shtick that they want to put out there, right? Like, I think that's what they see, what people want, and maybe that is to an extent, but
I don't
like,
think it was at first, though. At first, it was that whole like sibling rivalry.
right, right.
Stop anybody else. And I mean, we've seen it recently with Ricardo and how weird he was with us, and because of Darius and how tribalistic and weird that
What I
was.
noticed, and like, whenever I pop into those streams or whatever, it seems like they're just trying to put together some sort of act. It's
Oh,
like they're
God,
doing impressions, they're doing characters, they're doing all this kind of stuff, which is cool. Like, I would encourage that, but I don't know. I don't know. And this is a matter of opinion, right? Like, some people probably, they have guys that go there and love it, right? And it's just,
yeah, I mean, for me, it's just, I suppose it's the eye of the beholder. But like, I think part of art is a bit of variation. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of their issues are that they get something and they'll just run it into the ground, and it's
right,
just not
right,
funny anymore. Like, I think when your aim is for a different, like, I think maybe the reason of the art might be the thing that aligns people. So the
right.
style and the way people are and their own art and stuff can be as varied as anything, can't it? And in fact, I think that I would prefer that, but
But
I think
sometimes
it's
art
where it comes
is.
from.
But you know what? It's coming to me now. It's like, sometimes art is meant to make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe
Yeah.
some art is meant to.
Yeah, it is totally.
Well,
That's
you
why I used
know
to
what I
get
mean?
Murray at first. I used to probably overlay. I gave him more credit than he had, actually. I just thought he was more of an artist than he was. And people used to be like, "Oh, Murray, fucking hell!" And I was like, "Yeah, but he does that whole like farts in the elevator and waits around and like makes that fucking uncomfortable situation, and that
Right.
is art, And I used to
Yeah.
appreciate that. But he's a twat, so obviously that's it. And it's just like where it comes from. And again, with Albert and everything, their art, in quotations, and definitely Dean's, is just so single-minded into just trying to get these little gotchas, control over people, trying to just bring people down constantly. And for me, just personally, that's just not what art's about. It's just not what the fractal's
Right,
about.
right. And this may not be true, but like, what I've noticed, and like, I don't know who's who, and I don't care to fucking know, but like, you do a live stream or whatever, I'll stream a game, and you get the comments that are like, "Oh, Billy, you have no mic skills, and you suck, and nobody
Copying people.
cares." And like,
Yeah.
and it's funny. It's like, it's all just things to discourage you, like, and it kind of comes across as maybe like, you said something where, I don't fully maybe agree with it, like, that maybe they are threatened by somebody who they see that might be kind of better than them, or
They're threatened by
I certainly
anything.
don't see myself. I don't see myself in that
No,
way. Like I'm not
but
saying
they'll
I'm
take it
better.
like that, you see. You'll say something which is blatant. Absolutely, I agree with it 100%. Blatantly obvious to anybody. They're threatened by literally anything because a lot of them take Dean's fucking word for it because they have to. Because if they don't, he has a tantrum and he'll kick them out. So Dean is running it. Dean is a fucking 3-year-old kid in a man's body. Or in a slug's body. And he is just trying to desperately stay above water, but he's making all these people create this fantasy world around him to help him stay above water. So they all do it to his prescribed way, which again is a problem, isn't it? If you've got one person dictating that you can't do this and you can't do that and you have to do this and you have to do that, where
I don't know.
they are growing
I don't know
that.
that he does that. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but like I
Oh,
would
he's
say that
just right.
he.
He'll tell them. He tells them how to do. Well, what about fucking Rabbit Dude asking his permission? You know
Uh huh.
what I mean?
Right.
And
Okay.
shit like that. He's
Yeah.
like the whole thing is art to me. And so like if he's and I just think that anything he does when he's singing a song, it's normally to either discourage someone, bring someone down, or
Uh huh.
control somebody. When he does a character, it's to do a sideways. If he's doing it against his own people, it'll be to do some sort of sideways manipulation tactic where he's going to be bringing in and reinforcing new ways of being or ways of being that their norms and their social norms that he wants to get people on in line with. And if you just look at his stuff, I mean, I don't look at his main channel because obviously that's a bit more abstract and stuff. But when it's regarding this stuff and it's his own people, that's 100% what he's doing. I don't ever see him just trying to entertain people for the sake of entertaining them.
Well,
He either behind a character to
yeah, I haven't seen enough to say anything either way, so we can't say anything about that. But I will take it at face value when at least he's doing stuff that's
yeah,
more kind
he's
of
a bit more
higher.
with it. He does try, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like for me, the direction where it comes from is too. It's too personal. It's too like
Yeah,
self.
it's too destructive.
Yeah, it's too far up his own arse to be an artist, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Right. I think it would definitely be maybe. I get the sense that it's difficult to collaborate with or to kind of he's kind of probably
Harder. Do you know what I mean?
what you're making it sound like is like that he's the director and he's the guy that kind of runs the show.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be overt about that. It's not clear that that's the case. It's not like there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Having like a set team of people who have all got their own skills and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this bit, you do
Right,
this.
right,
Nothing wrong with that at all.
right.
But for him, I think he wants to be. I think that's where it comes from, and maybe that he isn't, but that's where I would say he wants to be. And if he doesn't get that, he's got like so much patience with certain people and different external factors are going to like how cool is that person to him,
Right.
how influence has that person got,
Right.
how much damage would that person do if they were on the wrong side of him, who
Right,
else could be brought into the situation using that person, and that'll all be factors which will be how much patience he's got with that person. But mark my words, eventually every dog has his day with Dean, because as soon as he starts feeling threatened,
right.
you'll be out on your ear.
Well, now that you kind of now that I think of it, like that thing you were saying about how Rabbit Dude came to ask him permission or whatever, it does kind of show that it at least comes across in the way that that is threatened. Like he's afraid that Rabbit Dude would come here and enjoy himself and actually have like a decent experience interacting with people like you or me or Evil or anybody else. So like there is that perception of
any other factions, maybe Darius, because that's where it all started. But do you see any other factions having like a massive hold over people and saying, "Oh, you're going into that stream. Oh, you're not allowed to go to that stream." What we saw with those guys is as soon as they got sucked into Dean's world, we never saw him again.
It
No one ever
screams.
saw it
It
again.
screams insecurity. Yeah, it screams insecurity to me. I mean, just
Oh, well, that's
looking at.
maybe the fact that he won't. He's only just, and it's only because Shaniqua's got her eye on the situation, in my opinion, because there's this talk about her. I don't know if he's ever going to let it happen, but he's pretending anyway that he wants to have a one-on-one thing, and he's going to let me and Shaniqua have a chat, which would be great. But
Have you ever talked further about that, or is it just in that one comment section?
it was in that one time at Evils, and he's never brought it up since. But then I've not been around because I fell on my head, didn't I, the other day? So I've not been around. But but like, you know, what was I bringing that up for? I can't remember. It's gone, but there was a reason. Never mind, it's gone. Probably because I've mentioned
My
falling.
fault. But, yeah, no, it does kind of scream insecurity because I'm sure he knows full well that there's nobody here that would try to hurt anybody or
Yeah, no, but that's not where it comes from for him. It's like a deep-seated childish level that he isn't even aware of. It's just he has that emotional reaction to people. He's like, oh shit, do you know what I mean? He probably doesn't even want it like that, you know what I mean? But that's just the way it is, and he's just so pig-headed and he's such a need to be important that whereas a lot of people question themselves at that bit and say, right, it's time for me to grow up. It's time for me to stop being so fucking threatened by these people and realize that people are adults and humans and that person's a nice person and all that stuff. Instead of doing that, he's just doubled down all his life and just been like, no, that's not me with my hand in the cookie jar. That's that person. That's that person. No, it's this person. And he's still doing it. And we're all fucking sucked along for the ride because idiots fall into like fucking buttocks, man.
Yeah, that whole situation is like, I don't know.
Fucking knobsack.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I don't even know where. Like, I don't know that man well enough. Like,
I fucking love him, man. I love him to bits. He's like my brother. I swear to God, I feel like he's my brother. My brother in arts, definitely. Yeah, he's just.
I can't say either way. I'm not gonna comment.
Something's changed there. Something's definitely changed there. He's gone from being like an artist with it all, who's got like this open palette, to having a very defined. It looks like a very, very defined target to what he's doing. Where instead of being
maybe it's just that he feels like he can express himself the way he wants to with those guys.
Yeah, well, good luck to you because you can't, because he's already, well, it looks like he's already being compromised by Dean's vision statement. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like, because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with people with a mental health issue, it's an unsaid thing, and everyone just kind of falls in line and deals with it, and it's a bit unsaid. And with someone like with Dean's sort of thing, you just end up having to deal with tantrums all the time, and people then just falling in line and chopping little bits off this and little bits off that just to make life easier for everybody. And that's just how it happens, I think.
Right. Well, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say.
I'm just going to keep on using buttocks as an influence or a muse or something for my advent calendar and shit like that. But that's the thing with the advent calendar as well, like you're saying, like I was just testing myself with that. It's just like every day I try something slightly different.
And same with me, like, they always I've always see like they try to come up with these wild stories or whatever, and it can never be exactly what I say it is or what it actually is. It's like,
exactly.
It's got to be some fantastical story that doesn't make any sense, and they just try to push out any nonsense they can, and whatever. That's what a troll does, and it's fine. And
there's an element
like I just keep on keeping on. I just do what I do. I did another mixtape today, and I can't wait to do it on the way home to work on Monday because it's a banger.
That's it. It gives you that satisfaction afterwards because, like, a couple of the ones that I've done, I was just like, "Oh, that turned out how I wanted it to," and it's nice when something you do actually turned out how you envisioned it. It doesn't happen very often with me, and because I'm not hell bent on that vision either. So like if I see something and then a happy accident happens or something just completely changes it, I'll go with that every time.
Right. Yeah, and but ultimately, it's like I'm doing it, and I'm confident saying that we do it for ourselves. We're not doing it
Yeah.
like, obviously, we put it out there into YouTube or whatever because we want to share the things that we create. But it's like I'm comfortable enough in what I do and what the things that I do, and that it's like primarily it's for me. And if anybody else wants to enjoy it, it's there
Exactly.
for everybody else. So that's the way I see it. And I'm
And that's
sure
why
that
it's
these
so
guys,
good
they
when
know what it is, but they just want to discourage. They want to bring you down. So they're gonna fucking say whatever they need to
yeah.
say.
Well, I think
Deep
they shut
down,
their
they know
brain
what it
down.
is.
But they shut their brain down and become the meat golems. So then, because of that, it's just easier for them just to not think. Especially like with Albert and his army fucking shit. He's obsessed with this army stuff. He just wants to shut his brain down and have someone tell him what to do. So like, I think there is a point, like you say, that those people do know this. But I think they shut down their own critical thinking a long time ago. So they're just like, what's today? What's on the menu today, boss? Do you know what I mean? And that's all there is to it. So like Dean tells them that person's a fucking dickhead and they're doing this, that, and the other, or he gives Lewis an idea. Lewis comes up with some contrived, big, fucking crazy ass story, and they just go with that. It's easier for them then to actually just collaborate with people. Even if we were roasting each other, we could collaborate artistically, but no,
Yeah.
No chance. I've tried to
Yeah,
collaborate with.
he does make it very unapproachable. Like that's the sense that I get. Like it's very, you know what I mean? Like because it's like everybody else I feel like is approachable and I want to engage with, but then when it comes to that dude, it's like ugh, I don't want to go there.
Because he's just eating and eating and eating. He doesn't see it. He doesn't
Right.
see what it
And
is.
and I'm weary. I'm weary of it either way, whether it's like a toxic, you know what I mean, thing, or even a friendly thing. It's like I would
Yeah,
still be kind of eerie of that
totally
for
agree with
some
that.
reason.
Because when
I
it goes
can't put my
right,
finger on it.
yeah, but look at what happens when it goes right. What's the best that can happen in that situation? Look at Buttocks now. He's just painted into a corner with him. So every time he comes on a stream, that's it there. It's just those cronies doing that. That's what he wants to do. That's fair enough. But if you ever got sick of that, or if you ever wanted to be flexible or do something different, then you're going to be in trouble. And people realise this. They're not stupid. People have seen what's happened to Rabbit Dude and Justy and people, and it's like people are just like wary in that sense because that's what happens when it goes quote unquote right.
Right.
That's the good ending. Being
Right.
absorbed by fucking Dean, like as an artist, you don't want your vision absorbed fully by someone else. It's great to be part of the gestalt sometimes. It's a bit like being fucking Odo out of Deep Space Nine, like what I mean. But sometimes you want to be your own voice in that choir, and Dean does not allow voices, does he?
I don't know. I don't know enough of the inside baseball to say that confidently because I don't know what he's doing.
Well,
I don't know.
all I could do is go on
Or
his
is
videos.
indirectly, and you know what I mean.
He
Directly,
just shouts
I
over people,
I don't know. I get this. All I will say is that I get this unapproachable feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I get that. So, but then,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else, even like Albert, even D Reed, I was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
guys like that, like they like I
He's massively approachable. I think
yeah yeah.
I think he's like an old lady, so he's like got this core walnut inside him of like this hard, sorry, this hardness inside him that
He's just a
he wants everything.
chill, cool dude, right? He's just a laid back, cool
But
dude.
yeah, he's totally approachable. He's totally reasonable. Well, I won't say he's totally reasonable in my opinion, but like, yeah, he's way more reasonable than the rest of them. I've got loads more.
I'm just saying there's not that like unapproachable feeling about it. You know what I mean?
You know what?
There's
It's
something
interesting.
that is like, he
Yeah,
might be abrasive or whatever, and I'm not just talking. I'm not
it's just
singling
different
out
people's
anybody.
personalities, isn't it? Exactly. We've got time for that.
It's
And
like if it was, yeah. If I felt like somebody like Albert or D Reed or any of those guys, wanted to like, you know, like say something about me and go back and forth, I would be like happy to do that with, but having that influence from Dean, it kind of like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? It turns me off. Because it's
Exactly.
like,
And
okay, this
when
is gonna get way too, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I totally get it, totally understand. That's why I just jump off the going back to what we were saying about him being threatened. That's why up until very recently with Shaniqua, he was jumping on every single panel going. He got called to do it at first, and then when Carl got fucked off, then he started doing it and just doing anything he could just to keep me off a panel for ages. And that's just pure threatening behaviour. He does it with loads of people, does it all the time. It's
I
not
always wondered, going back to that Carl situation with me, I always wondered if it was. I mean, I'm almost certain, but like I like, you know, the way I am, even though I don't like to assume anything,
yeah.
but like the feeling I got was that he was made to feel like, or he was convinced that I was a bad person, or I was,
I've no idea, yeah.
you know, who knows, right? But like, you know,
I just
so
don't know where his own thought process has started and where he was influenced by Dean on that one.
I don't
Because
know. So much water has gone under that bridge that it's
yeah.
like I don't even have the you know, I don't have my thoughts on that are gone. Like
Did you
they
hear
just,
what Buttock said about him though? Whether it's true
oh,
or
I
not,
didn't.
I don't know. But he was saying that I can believe it. When he around that time with when we were all interacting with Carl, around that time it was like July, wasn't it? June, July time.
Uh-huh.
Because I remember saying to you guys, Buttocks gave Carl his fucking phone number once
Oh, right.
on a stream. And he was saying that it was just like a generated number that he uses for text or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And when it all sort of when he wasn't answering his phone and all the stuff that we know very well with Carl, obviously Buttocks hadn't met up to his expectations that day for some reason or other, and he then threatened over time, over a prolonged time, to try and expose his phone number because he thought it was his personal phone number and he was going to expose it.
Uh-huh.
And that's like apparently like from the timeline. That's what I was trying to work out with Buttocks, but that was well after what had happened.
Okay. CP, my phone is about to, like, the app is gonna fall off. So I think I'm sorry, but we're gonna have
Oh
to
right, okay, fair enough.
yeah. I didn't want it to be long anyway, so I was thinking an hour. We're at 47 minutes, so
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
thanks. I just wanted to get the point off about art and kind of like I just think it's fun talking about this stuff, and I know nobody else cares. Like there's zero people right now,
Oh
but
well, I'm always up for some art stuff, but
yeah,
if
yeah.
people want
So
to do,
I just wanted to have a conversation and kind of talk about this stuff
we can
because like
have another art conversation next time you do a graffiti stream.
I am going to do one this weekend, hopefully, if I can work it
We,
out.
yeah,
I've been wanting to do it for a while, but like things have been crazy in my house lately, so
fair
it's
enough. Oh
I don't know.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. But
cool.
okay, so this thing's gonna die out soon. So good night, everybody. Well, good night,
Bye.
nobody. Good night. If
Have a
you
good one. See ya.